Hey, Sassy Stuff. I'm Emma here with Georgia, and we're going to recap this Orange Bowl college football playoff semifinal game between Notre Dame and Penn State. So Notre Dame did come out on top here, 27-24. Penn State's season is now ending with a 13-3 record. Notre Dame is now advancing to that national championship game on January 20th, taking on either Ohio State or Texas. I've already picked Ohio State to win this game, so we'll see what happens tonight. Who are you favoring in that game really fast?
Ohio State. I'd like Texas to pull it off for the SEC, but yeah, I don't think they're going to.
Yeah. Well, then how did you feel about the Orange Bowl?
Like I said in a few videos ago, Penn State are chokers, and I was just waiting for them to choke. But they looked like the better team most of the game. And I think it's just unfortunate for them. I think I saw a stat that they're now 1-18 versus top 5 opponents. That's really bad. So I know James Franklin is stressed. I don't think he has anything to worry about his job for, but I know the fans are coming for his head. So.
Yeah. And, I can blame, or we can all blame a lot of this on Drew Aller. He was very inconsistent throughout the game. He went 12 for 23 at 139 passing yards, and then he had that critical interception at the end of the game. He honestly, in my opinion, had 2 interceptions. I think the overturned interception due to pass interference was kind of ludicrous. I was like, that ball is underthrown. He just was really inconsistent throughout the night. I don't know why they switched up their game plan, really, because in the first half, they controlled the tempo with a 15-play, 90-yard touchdown drive, taking 7:17 off the clock. They outrushed Notre Dame with 141 rushing yards in that first half. They led at halftime 10-3. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, why didn't we keep doing what was working for you? I understand Notre Dame really had to switch up their offensive scheme and everything. And I think they understood that after Steve Angeli stepped in for Riley Leonard after he went out to check and see if he had to be on concussion protocol. And they saw that when a true pocket passer was winning in the pass game, then Riley Leonard had to do a healthy mix of both. And that's when their offense really opened up. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, Penn State, you were averaging over 5 rush yards per play. I'm like, why did we switch this up here? So I think there were mistakes all around, but Penn State, I was like, why are we changing what's working? Let's not change it until we know it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, and I think that the issue was that Notre Dame really kind of changed their game plan up during that halftime. And after that, Penn State doesn't really have wide receivers that are talented enough. Not that they're not talented, but just they're not at the level that they need to be to win the games for them. And, Singleton is an excellent player, but you can only do so much on the back of one player for the whole game. And once Notre Dame kind of started shutting that down, there wasn't much that Penn State could do. They just don't have the talent throughout the whole offense. So, they controlled the line of scrimmage on offense and defense that basically whole first half. And then Notre Dame, I guess, got in the locker room and was like, hey, we got to do something different. And I think Penn State wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, they're great with halftime adjustments, which is what I love about this Notre Dame team. You have to be very versatile and you have to be very flexible with what the other team is giving you. Like you were saying, no wide receivers recorded a single catch during the game, which is crazy to think about. Obviously, they had Singleton, and then the tight end Warren had 6 catches, 75 yards. I thought he was underutilized. I thought if we are going to pass, let's pass to him and let's make some connections because he can get the job done and he can be your star player here. But it was just very inconsistent for Penn State after having such a dominant first half. But Riley Leonard, he returned from that first half injury. He delivered a game-tying 54-yard touchdown pass and a clutch 3rd down throw to set up the game-winning field goal. So Riley Leonard came out and he was able to readjust in that second half and clinch the win for this team. So they are now moving on to the national championship. It is their first appearance since 2012. Head coach Marcus Freeman is praised for leading his injury-plagued team because they had numerous injuries throughout the night on the offensive line and the secondary that they had to adjust for. And this is also a big financial boost for the Notre Dame team as an independent school with a 20 million payout. So this is great for them because they don't have to share that money with a conference by any means. But yeah, I thought this was a great game. And I think it really highlights the importance of these marquee matchups after kind of an underwhelming first round. It also shows you how seeding is important because Penn State played probably the easiest track to get to the semifinals, beating SMU and Boise State. So really reseeding. So the teams played more difficult teams throughout, I think would really test these teams in these new playoffs.
I was really impressed with Jeremiah Love. So Jeremiah Love has that knee injury, and I think they mentioned multiple times, like, oh, don't hurdle, don't hurdle. And then he was like, you know what, screw this, we got to win the game. So I really admired that. It was nice to see a player just kind of like, you know what, I might be injured, but I need to win this game. So that was really cool. And the fact that Notre Dame was the worst field goal unit in
Mm-hmm.
the regular season, and then they won by a field goal. I do think it's really awkward. They kept saying, and his dad helped with his groin. Like, why would you say that? his chiropractor dad saved his groin. This is awkward. So good for him, good for that kick. But I also would like to shout out Abdul Carter on Penn State. I was impressed with his play a lot of the game. He had like 5 tackles and 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss. He is a very talented guy, and I'm excited to see what he does in the NFL too, because he'll most likely be declaring for the draft now. But yeah, I mean, I was expecting a defense heavy game. They honestly scored more points than I thought was going to be on the board for the game. And that's honestly the games I like. That's the games I was raised on: defense heavy games, run heavy games. So I definitely think this is a better game than what we got from the first round of the playoffs that were like, ooh. And then I saw someone was like, Penn State is a fraud. And I just think it's unfortunate that every single team that loses, they're a fraud. Like, shut up. Sometimes you just lose games.
Yeah. And it was a close game too. I was like, they dominated the first half, and Notre Dame made the correct adjustments to pull out a win, but they didn't win by 20. They won by 3.
Yeah.
So it's not like Penn State didn't put up a big fight throughout the night. They were very strong. They just had a little bit more inconsistency in that second half. And that's kind of when you need to put your gear into overdrive and go, 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 go. But like you were saying with Love, when he did hurdle, I was very impressed with his body control because he did land on his uninjured leg. Because I was like, oh, he's coming down on the one with the knee brace, but he didn't. I thought that was amazing. But Marcus Freeman has really cemented himself as a great head coach for this Notre Dame team. He obviously has that contract extension. One thing I love about him that has come out recently is he did meet with NIU's head coach after that loss early this year, and he was like, how did you beat us? Like, I really want to learn from you on how you were able to take down our team. And I love that because, I think to do anything at a high level on a big stage, you have to have somewhat of an ego. You have to have an ego isn't always a bad thing. It's just a lot of confidence in your abilities and in yourself. But some of these coaches have a lot of ego, and I don't think they would be open to taking notes from a team and a head coach like the head coach at NIU on how they were defeated in that game. And the fact that he went in there and was like, how did you beat us? And then he took those notes, and then he has shaped his team throughout the year to be this potential championship winning team. I love that for him and for the Notre Dame program moving forward. So I think they definitely have a guiding light in Marcus Freeman moving forward.
I am a big fan of Marcus Freeman. I don't usually like coaches outside of the SEC because they're just so loyal to a fault, but I really do like him. And I mean, how crazy and amazing is it? Well, not amazing. It's honestly kind of sad that we're going to have our first African American coach in the national championship. Either way, that game would have went, but that is just so cool for him. And then he's also going to be the first coach of Asian descent to be in the national championship. So it's a really historic year for college football. And I just think he is a great guy. So I'm happy for him. And I think this is going to be a great national championship with whoever wins the next game, Ohio State or Texas. It's going to be a good national championship. So I enjoyed the game. It was great. I didn't think Notre Dame was going to win, to be honest. I was like, oh, they'll make that field goal and something's going to happen. Penn State's going to do something, but they choked. And that last play, oh my gosh, I was like, what was that? What were you thinking?
I don't know. He wasted 4 seconds, and those seconds are so critical at the end. Drew Aller did, and I don't know. Like you said,
I
it
don't
was
know if
they
he got
kinda choked.
flustered. Like,
I don't know. I was like, you can't throw that ball away. You got to make something happen. And also, I was like, we got to throw deep. Like, we got to go. Like, we can't be messing around. So, it wasn't a strong performance overall. It was just inconsistent. There were moments of greatness from this team, especially in that first half. It was just completely dominant. And I was like, okay, Penn State is taking over on both sides of the ball, and then this could be it. But the adjustments that Notre Dame made under Marcus Freeman was amazing. So, and if a team from a non-conference wins the first ever 12-team playoff, that just adds to the chaos of college football, and we're all here for chaos.
okay, y'all comment below who y'all think is going to win the national championship, Notre Dame, Ohio State, or Texas. We're excited to watch this next game. And remember to follow us and subscribe. Sassy stuff on YouTube, TikTok, that might be banned, and Instagram. Thank you guys again. We'll see y'all later.